Guys, we are nearing the end of the White Rose trading tier in this course. Very, very exciting stuff. You guys are making some good progress, hopefully. You know, I'm giving out these tips and all that stuff, talking about the important things in trading that should hopefully be helping you guys get to where you want to be in terms of achieving your trading goals. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about, which is today, overconfidence or confidence or underconfidence. Basically confidence in general, right? I'm just going to label this confidence, but I'm going to be talking about confidence, both overconfidence and underconfidence, because there's obviously a sweet point that we want to be at in terms of our trading, and in order to get there, we've got to understand basically what it is and what we want to be achieving. So of course, as an active trader, we want to be confident enough in ourselves and in our trading strategy that we know each and every single day going into the market what we have to do in terms of what we want to see on the market, and then we are confident enough to be hitting buy or sell on any given day when our strategy does present itself, because that means that we have full faith in our confidence, in our strategy, in ourselves to be executing a trade. We don't have that fear holding us back when we know that potentially we could be taking a loss here or we could be taking a win at the same time. The confidence is basically that perfect level that you want to be at in terms of trading, and it's like sort of like the flow state when it comes to, like, you know, sports and all that stuff. People talk about flow state where you're just in this zone and you're just doing shit and it just comes naturally. That's where we want to be in trading at the same time. Now, it is very, very easy to become overconfident in your trades, especially if you're on like a win streak or something like that. If you're going to be taking a win streak and let's say you're on 3 wins in a row, then you might be overconfident on that next trade because, oh, based on these last 3, I'm on a hot streak. I may as well maybe up my risk this day. I may as well, you know, enter slightly earlier just because the trades have been going my way lately. The way that, what is it? There's that saying of probability has no memory. That's basically, you can say I'm on a 3 trade win streak. That next trade does not care. It does not correlate at all with the previous trades that you've been taking in terms of this exact trade. This trade has just the same percentage based on your strategy of winning or losing on any given day. It resets. It doesn't, you know, build up. There's no such thing as the build up in terms of the outcomes and all that stuff. It resets. So we don't want to, of course, be over trading either when it comes to that. Like, if we're overconfident, we enter into the market, we take a trade, it wins. Beautiful. Oh, that was actually really quick. I still got a lot of time left in my day. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Why don't I go and enter into another trade? Why would we not? Why would we want to be entering into another trade? We already took our win for the day. Based on your rules, 1 win per day is enough. That's all you should be taking. You got to look at like the traders that you see on TikTok and all over the place. Maybe not all of them, but when they're taking it, like the good ones, right? When they're taking a trade, they're following their rules. They have set in stone their rules. I take 1 trade once a day. That is it. You will see them take that trade. They either take the win or the loss because they understand the probability of the strategy of the markets, and then they move on with the rest of the day. They go and do something else. And that's another thing. We want to trade in order to give ourselves that time freedom. We don't want to be stuck in a job where we have to be there from 9 till 5, from 7 till 3, whatever it is. We don't want to be told where to be in a job, which is why we look to do day trading. But if you're taking trades and then you're constantly sat at the desk and constantly looking at the markets and constantly being there and trying to take trades, then does that not just defeat the entire purpose of the freedom that you get from trading? It does, right? Because then you're stuck. Yes, it's on your own terms, but then you're stuck in the one place and you don't have that freedom of time to go and do whatever you want to do. That is where the overconfidence comes in. We don't want to be overconfident and over trading and just eliminating our time freedom. We are trading to become free with our time, with our finances, and our location. Almost forgot about that one, but that's of course important as well. And then at the same time, that's overconfident, right? Which is bad. Underconfidence is just as bad as well, because we don't want to be, you know, maybe we've taken 2 losses in a row the past couple of days, and then we come into the market and we're not feeling ourselves. We're not feeling very good. We are underconfident. And because of that, we're a little bit fearful when our next opportunity arises for us to enter into the market. And we maybe don't enter into it just because we've been taking a couple of losses lately. I might sit out of the market this time just because it hurts for me to be taking another trade here that could end up being a loss. There's obviously a couple of reasons for that, but the underconfidence in entering into that market at that given time when your strategy says to is also a bad thing. And then obviously the fact that it may hurt you leads back to what I was talking about in an earlier video. I believe it was in the fear one. I'm not exactly too sure, but Other than that, those are the two, far left or far right, depending on whatever way it is. We're either overconfident or underconfident. And to be in the middle, just the right amount of confident, where you're seeing your strategy and you're entering in it regardless of what your previous trades have been saying. Obviously, unless you've been making mistakes on those previous trades, you want to be understanding why you're making mistakes. But in terms of optimal trades, you don't make any mistakes in your trading. You want to be at that optimal confidence level to be entering into every single position that presents itself because your strategy says so, risking the correct amount as well because your trading plan says to do so. That is important. We then don't want to be overconfident when we're taking wins and feeling like we're the kings, we run this shit, the markets are easy, why have I not been doing this my entire life, and making millions and millions of dollars. That is when we start to capitulate, because you'll be up on such a high pedestal with that confidence that you'll take a loss and it'll hit you, and then that straight away can affect your psychology in a way that, you'll be like, oh shit, I took a loss. What the hell? I thought I was really, really good. Now I've taken a loss. And then you might take another loss, and then you can just roller coaster all the way down, end up falling, end up making mistakes after mistakes, stop following your plan, all of that stuff. So that's why it's very important to be just the right amount of confident in your trading to execute, but not overconfident where we're over executing. So at this point right now, we are still learning, right? We are not fully profitable day traders at this point for you guys watching this video. And that's absolutely fine because we're still learning. That's important. But at this time, you're going to have to just continue developing yourself as well as the strategy. If the strategy is already a proven one, then it's got to be yourself. You just have to develop yourself, and you basically just have to find that confidence, that balance that allows you to execute perfectly and then not worry about the outcome. Go on with the rest of your day. Now, of course, you are going to be taking win streaks and losing streaks at the same time. So yes, no matter what I say or no matter what, you practice, you are still going to be feeling those little bits of emotions. Like, as I said in an earlier lesson, trading with those emotions. But it's all just about understanding that the markets are going to move up and down constantly, and your outcomes as well are going to be up and down. You're going to have winning weeks, but then losing weeks, winning days, losing days. You're going to have winning months and losing months. It's going to happen. Nobody knows the exact outcome of the months that they're going to be having in terms of trading. You pretty much just have to understand that if I'm on a losing streak, there is a win that's bound to come as long as I'm continuing to follow my plan. The amount of times that I thought I was really, really close to, mastering my strategy, mastering this, whatever, the market, it's kind of crazy how the market works, but the market would give me, say, 3 losing days in a row. Bang, bang, bang. But I followed my plan on those days. I would have perfect executions, perfect, draw on liquidity, following my plan. Absolutely everything to a T would be perfect. And then just the 3 days ended up being a loss, which it sucks, but that's part of the market. That's part of a winning strategy at the same time. It's bound to happen. Then you move into the next day, and because of those 3 losing day trades, pretty much you make that one slight little mistake of oh, I'm not going to measure this break of structure. It's 0.4 instead of 0.5, which is my rule. Or maybe the daily draw on liquidity is slightly unclear. Has it hit a swing point? This, that, the other. This is a day I should be avoiding, but I'm going to trade it anyway because I'm in a losing streak. I want to correct that. And then you end up basically making a mistake the very next day, the next trading day, to take a 4th loss in a row. Then at the end of that day, you go back and you review it, and turns out that trade would have been a win had you followed your plan exactly the way you've been practicing the entire time. The exact way that you were trading those first 3 days. On that 4th day, when you switch it, the market would have given you a win. So I've found that happened quite a bit, to be honest, when I was learning to do my trading. So that may happen to you, and if it does, just understand that losing streaks are a part of trading and a part of a winning strategy. You're going to have to take them. But there's always another day to trade. There's always another win. Even if you're taking a prop firm, which you shouldn't be at the minute, but we'll talk about that soon. Even if you're taking a prop firm challenge and you blow the account, dude, that's just part of it. Unfortunately, that's just part of it. That's why as unprofitable traders, while we're still learning, we should not be taking those challenges because obviously we have to pay for it. But just pay for the account and then keep trading the way your system says, because your system, if you go back on your system and do the back testing, write down how many times you would have passed a certain phase even. Actually, I'm talking too much into that, but it kind of relates, because the main idea that I'm trying to get across is that no matter what streak you're in, a losing streak, there's bound to be another win as long as you're following your strategy. A winning streak, there's also bound to be another loss, even when you're following your strategy. Obviously, it could be a mistake, but you just want to ensure that you're not making mistakes. The only losses you want to be taking are from the market. You don't want you to be giving yourself a loss, which is going to happen. I'll tell you that right now. As unprofitable day traders, as learners, as beginners, we are going to be making these mistakes. And yes, it really, really pisses you off 100%. But at the same time, it's part of the journey, and we have to understand why we're taking a loss, which is why it's so important to be journaling, because that way we can identify the mistakes that we've been making. We can see it, do the video thing that I talked about as well. That obviously helps. At the same time, you can then see exactly where you went wrong. Even just film it and upload it to Google Drive or something like that. Just take note of the mistakes you're making, learn from them, then find a confidence between both of those. Pretty much confidence will come over time as well with practice at the same time. You want to be practicing your art, which is of course your strategy, and then executing it perfectly. So there is a little bit of balance that you need to get, but just being able to like sort of see yourself in a third person and be like, okay, this guy's way too overconfident for this trading day. Let's just dial it back a bit and let's make sure every single rule on our trading plan is followed before we actually execute a trade. And then there you go. So there is little ways to find it. It comes and goes. Trading is a roller coaster, but eventually you will understand it. Eventually it will all start clicking. And once you work on yourself and you build yourself and you find that balance, it's gonna be a game changer. That's what it's gonna be. So White Rose trading tier is nearly done. I think one more video left of this part of the course. Hopefully it's good, and I'll see you in that next one. Let's get to it.